Hey guys, I wanted to come on here today and do a specialty video for my YouTube subscribers. So this video will hopefully be uploaded onto YouTube. I'm new to YouTube and learning the technical part of it is I don't want to say it's a challenge, but it is new to me. So some of my lives on Facebook, I was hoping to also upload them onto YouTube and they didn't save somehow, or I haven't figured out how to save them yet. But anyways, that's just a whole different part, not really what this video is going to be about. What I wanted to do today is a tutorial on the Rooster napkin holder. If you watched my last live, this was in my cart, and it also has a little area to put possibly your salt and pepper shakers. So it's just a really neat little farmhouse item, and I said that I was going to paint it, and I did want to do so today. So I'm going to be painting it in this shade of Jolie white, and hopefully you can see it on there. And then what I plan on also doing is protecting it with the Jolie finishing wax in black. So I do think that these will be really pretty together, and this piece just requires very minimal prep work. I'm just going to wipe it down using this furniture cleaning polish. It's very inexpensive. It's like $5 for the whole bottle, and it works really well to clean and polish your furniture. And then when I'm doing that, normally if I have them available, I'll just buy a big bag of lint-free rags or cloths. And they just come, you know, torn apart, but again, they're lint-free. You can also use these if you don't use a wax brush, if you are going to protect your pieces with wax. So what I usually do, you can see this item, I don't have any stickers on it. Those have already been pulled off. If you do have those, you're going to want to remove them prior to painting. And I just did a few squirts of the furniture cleaner, and you can see I have the lint-free cloth damp, and I'm just gonna go over the piece. You can do a circular motion. You can rub in the way that the wood grain shows, kind of go in the same direction as the grain of the wood. And this piece isn't too dirty, but you can see a little bit coming off. So it is a good idea to wipe down your pieces before painting them. I am not going to need to sand this piece. It doesn't really seem like there's even a polish on it. And normally you don't have to sand when using Jolie paint. The coverage and adhesion is really good. There are some rare instances where you may want to roughen up the surface. It really just depends on piece by piece, and the Jolie guide, paint guide, is a really good guide to read, and we have them available if you would like one. So that will give you an idea of what pieces may need to be roughened up a bit with the sandpaper before applying the Jolie paint. All right, so I just wiped this piece down. Again, that's what my rag looks like. Not too dirty, but it is a good idea to get that off. So here it is. And I'm going to start with this Jolie paint, and I am using the Jolie signature brush. So this is one of my favorite brushes. The bristles were made, I believe, in Europe and the US. It has a mix of the bristles in here. And this is just a really great all-around brush. It's 1.5 inches. That's usually the size of the paintbrush I like to paint with. This is a smaller piece, so it's not, I could get away with a smaller brush, but because this is one of my favorite brushes, I wanted to show you. And it's this right here. It has Jolie right on the handle there, and then you can just see how nice these bristles are. And one thing I love about the Jolie brushes is very minimal, if ever, do the brush heads fall off or get into the paint. I've experienced brushes in the past where the bristles actually go into my work, and if it happens on occasion, I understand, but a quality brush isn't going to do that, and these ones are good. So I'm using a sample size. This is a 4 ounce. A little bit goes a long way in the Jolie paint, and you don't need to use a stir stick with the 4 ounce sample sizes. Just go ahead and give it a good shake. Do that up and down about 10 to 15 times. And then you can go ahead and be careful when you open it, but it is gonna open. And I'm gonna use the little bit that's in the lid there because a little bit goes a long way. So I'm gonna start with that. And then when I need to, I'll dip it into the little jar. So I'm just gonna go here and apply this. I'm a slightly messy painter. So, I mean, it is what it is. I'm not ashamed of it. Got a little bit on my brush, and I'm just gonna go ahead here and try to show you as I paint. Since I'm doing this all white, I'm just going for coverage on this first coat. And also I'm gonna go in, and I even like how that looks right there. I mean, doesn't that look cool? Where some of the wood grain still comes through. So that's even cool. So this piece would look cool whitewashed as well. But today we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna get a coat here. So I'm gonna turn it back to me, but you can see I'm just taking it and getting the coat on. I'm not trying to be fancy. There's no really wrong or right way to really do this. I just want to get the coverage on the piece. That's my main objective at this point. So we're going to go ahead. I'm going to get the first coat on. I should have got my heat gun ready. I do use a heat gun. If you are going to use them, use with caution. Obviously, they do get very hot, and there are some items where you should not use a heat gun with. So you want to be very mindful and read the directions in their entirety. But using a heat gun does speed up the dry time substantially. And time, when you get busy and you need to get projects done, it's just best to have that as an option. I can already tell this is going to be such an awesome piece in someone's home, and I'm really looking forward to see what the final outcome will be. But yeah, so we're just going here and just kind of see that coverage. That's the first coat. Look how beautiful that is already. And I've barely even dipped into the 4-ounce sample size jar. So you can imagine how many pieces you can do just with a sample size jar of Jolie paint, and then a quart of Jolie paint. Well, you can imagine that is like 4 times the amount, if not more. So awesome stuff. I love this product. Can't say enough good things about it. And if you are interested in purchasing some of the paint or the brushes, wax, anything that I've been showing on this video, you can go to our website, northernvintagedecor.com, and we are pretty much a fully stocked retailer of the Jolie paint line. And I will be placing another order shortly for just the few items that may be out of stock, but I do stay on top of it. All right, so like I said, I'm a messy painter. Even with my nails, I still get paint on them and it comes off. So I know sometimes that might be a concern for some women who have their nails all painted up, super nice. Gloves, yeah, you can wear gloves too, but I don't, not really necessary. And I don't really have to get on the inside of this napkin holder, but I'm going to, because depending on where it's placed in the kitchen, it may show. So I'm just gonna make sure that I give this piece a full coverage paint job. And I know it's not gonna take long to dry at all. I mean, Jolie paint, depending on the size of the project, generally doesn't take long at all anyways. So I actually might not even need to use the paint or the heat gun on it, but I guess I can, just to kind of show you that too. So as you can see, this is the first coat. And I just want to go in and make sure I get the little crevices down here on the inside. I don't know if I've ever actually videotaped while painting like this. I seem to think I'm enjoying it. So if you like this, let me know in the comments. And based on the response, again, if you're enjoying this, I can certainly do more. Let me go ahead and adjust this so you can see what I'm doing. There, so that should give you a better visual. That way you can see me while I work, and you don't really need to see me. You probably want to see more of the piece that I'm working itself. Hopefully that view is okay. Again, this is my first time with getting the angling right on the camera mount that I'm using with my phone, and I just got a new phone today because my other one was starting to really go on me. So it's not perfect, but we've came a long way with the technology, and it certainly is amazing what can be achieved with just a phone. And yeah, that's basically it. And some talent. So I'm just getting in here. I'm doing the inside right now in case you're wondering. All right, so I think for a first coat, that's pretty darn good, especially when we're gonna come back in with the black wax anyways. It doesn't have to be perfect. I think a lot of times us creatives might overthink the process, and that can lead to procrastination and a whole lot of unfinished projects, and we don't want that. We want our creative juices to flow, so don't overthink it would be one of my biggest suggestions. All right, awesome. So I hope you guys, again, I'm trying to get it so you can see more than me and more of the project. So there is the first coat of the Jolie paint. That's one side. And then there is the bottom. And so your napkins are gonna go right in here, and then you can put your salt and pepper shakers here, or some type of condiment bottle, or whatever you think would work good there. I haven't painted the bottom yet. I'll probably do that at the end because right now I need it to sit so it can dry. And I'm gonna look here and see if I can find, my heat gun. It's the one item I didn't prep, but usually I keep it fairly close. And I did find it, so I'm just gonna go ahead and plug it in. This really isn't gonna need much of the heat gun at all. So I am gonna put it on the lowest setting. This is what the heat gun looks like. When you're not using it and when it needs to cool down, you set it on the table like this. So it'll be sitting straight up because this part's gonna be hot when it turns on. It may sound common sense to many people, but some people might not know that, and it's important. You wanna know the right way so you don't burn something yourself or, something in your room or whatever. We don't want that. So again, use with caution if you use a heat gun, read the directions, and yeah. So I'm gonna put it on the lowest setting, and I'm gonna dry it, constantly moving it in motion. I don't wanna hold for too long in one spot when using the heat gun. And also be mindful of your own hand and yourself when you're using the gun. I see here I missed one of the ends of this piece, so I'm gonna have to go in and touch that up because I want the dry time to be even on the first coat. That is something I want. So yeah. I used to use a hairdryer for the longest time, if you want the truth, and yeah, it works, but it's a game changer when you have a heat gun. And again, I know this might sound so simple to some people, but hey, we all learn, right? So pretty much, except for where I had a thicker coat, this is pretty much dry already. So it was already on its way to being dry before I got the heat gun going. And just by like touching up, it's pretty good. So again, I'm gonna set it like this now on the table, and we'll just leave that nearby for when I have to do the second coat. And then I'm just gonna touch up right here because I missed the end on this part. So there, touch that up. And then I'm gonna take the heat gun again, low setting, and just go over that. Honestly, that's all that end pretty much needs. And yeah, it's pretty much dry. So this is the first coat, and I love it. And I said on my video yesterday, I'm really not all about the farmhouse look, but I know many people are, and that's totally fine. I just have a different style. But this, I do like it. So it's gonna be really nice in someone's farmhouse kitchen, that's for sure. I'll paint the bottom at the end because right now I need to focus on the top part of the piece so we can complete that. All right, so it's ready for its second coat. And I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm using, again, the Jolie signature brush in 1.5 inch. And I'm also using this Jolie little 4-ounce sample size jar in white. And I'll link these items if I figure out how to do that in the comments below. So then if you'd like to purchase them, you can certainly do so from our website. So here again, just to kind of give you a visual, I'm just gonna go in and do a really nice second coat on this piece, keeping in mind that if it's a little bit on the distressed look, that's okay. I guess more of the whitewash look. I'm not really distressing it. Originally, I thought I was going to, but then the more I started looking at the piece, I was like, that would look so great if I came in with a black wax. And not only is the black wax going to add that contrast and just give it that wow factor, but it's also a protectant. And I should add that we do recommend using a clear wax first of Jolie paint and then applying the colored wax afterwards. So that is something to keep in mind. And I do need to grab one of my clear waxes that's opened and apply that before we go on with the black. And because, again, I'm going over it with wax, it's not going to be a solid white color. It doesn't have to be 100% perfect, but it looks pretty darn good. So there, that's the second coat. I am going to touch up right in here a little bit. Okay, so awesome. Looking good. There. That's the first coat on one side. I love it. I'm sorry, not the first coat, second coat. And I'm going to touch up the edge here so I don't forget. Make sure that's all covered. And I'll start with this back side here. I just love the coverage and the colors that this paint line offers, the Jolie paint. And the brushes are great too, so that's always a bonus. Okay, so there's one side, and here is the other side. And I'm gonna go ahead, I started on this other side down below, and I just need to finish up here. So I'm gonna set it down so I can just really focus on that for a minute. And again, I'm gonna have quite a bit of paint left over, so I'm going to probably, I could add accent pieces with this, like little wooden frames, and then apply the black wax to really make it pull together. And then you would have this and frames to add to your home kitchen decor. That would look really sharp. There's just a lot you could do. If you had a kitchen clock, you could always paint that to match. There's so much. It really just depends on what your personal preference is. But just know if you do a similar project in size to this, you're gonna have quite a bit left over. So that's always a nice option. And hopefully everyone's having a good evening. I had a really busy day today. However, it went better than I thought it was going to. And I got everything pretty much accomplished that I wanted to today. There's a couple tasks that I'll have to schedule out for later this week, but that's all right. It still seems like everything worked out. And I'm just getting on the inside here. Whoops. Bear with me for a moment. All right, so adjusting the camera. The mount that I have the phone in came unattached a little bit, so I wanted to, probably from me painting on the table, it's bouncing a little bit. I pulled the adhesive once it was down, and once you do that, the stick is never really the same. but I can fix it. I can add another adhesive strip to it. So there are solutions in a nutshell, right? Okay. So I touched up most of the parts that I wanted to get, and now I will show you, and then I will take the heat gun to it. Whoops, I see a drip. Do you see it towards the tail of the rooster? Right here. So if that happens, not a problem. We'll just go ahead, smooth it out. As long as you can catch it in time when the paint's still wet, it's a super easy fix. If the paint's dry and you notice a drip, it's still a fixable, fairly fixable process. You're just gonna lightly sand where that drip was, and then you're gonna wanna paint over it. So you're definitely gonna wanna make sure that if you do have drip marks, they're taken care of before you protect a piece, especially if it's with like a varnish. Okay, so there is the second coat. And again, it's not going to have to be a perfect solid white because I'm going to come in with black wax, which is dark, and it's really just going to give it that nice pop. I am going to close up the jar now, just so we don't have any spills there. And while I am, you guys can probably kind of see me, but there we go. While I'm getting ready to apply the heat gun to the second coat, I'm going to take my Jolie signature brush and place it in a Ziploc bag just for now so that it doesn't dry up. But now if you had, like, let's say you had a project tomorrow, if you wanted to, you could put it in a plastic bag and actually put it in the fridge. I mean, you can clean your brushes too, and that is my first recommendation, but I just know how I am. If I know I'm going to be using the same color, this is a temporary option, but don't blame me if you forget about your brushes, okay? So I'm going to go back to my heat gun, low setting, and I'm just going to go in and have this dry. And again, it shouldn't take very long. Turning out so lovely. I really like this piece. I know whoever gets this piece is going to absolutely love it. I'm actually going to get it listed tonight as well. So when I figure out how to put the links in the video below, I will link not only the products that I've used to achieve this look, but I will also put a link up to show you how to purchase this item. And we can ship it. So just know that's definitely an option too. Okay, so this is what it looks like right now. Okay, and I did the inside, the bottom I'm going to come back at the end and do, but right now I really want to focus on this piece, the top part. So I'm going to grab some clear wax and apply that first. And I did make, well, I didn't make it, but I put together, actually, my husband put together this really neat over-the-door caddy. I'll show you at the end here if I remember. And what's really